What's up, y'all? The next segment that I'm gonna bring to you is dealing with a disorder entitled Non-24, and I want to let you all know that any of the symptoms that this gentleman is about to describe is no way, shape, and form concluding that one has Non-24. I do suggest from the Parker Daniel Show, as well as my co-host, that you go to your nearest doctor to be diagnosed before you claim that after you watch this video that you have Non-24. So, with that being said, let's jump right into the video. Good evening. Welcome to another edition of the Parker Daniel Show. My name is Anthony Parker. I keep telling y'all, but we keep getting new subscribers, so I gotta let everybody know who I am and what we're about. We're about making changes, no excuses. Today we have a very special show. We're going to the great state of Texas, Houston, that is. And we're going to talk to you about a subject which I don't want to sound like I'm an expert, but I have someone on the phone who's going to give us some expertise on that particular topic. It's called Non-24, this sleeping disorder. It's a disorder that's common with individuals who are visually impaired. Now, again, I don't want to sound like I know a lot about it, but I know that it has something to do with your sleeping cadences and what have you. So, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna let my great friend William, and he also has his wife online, that's gonna give us her perspective in terms of how this Non-24 sleeping disorder affects, I guess, the family or her and what have you. So, without further delay, because I'm excited to jump in and let everybody know about this particular disorder, and I'll bring you William. William, are you on the air?
Yes, I'm here.
How you doing today, William?
I'm good.
I'm good also. And your lovely wife, Doris, it is?
Well.
How you doing? How you doing, ma'am?
Well.
Okay, great. William, you're here to talk about the Non-24, right?
Yes. Let me start off by just trying to maybe give a little just general information about this issue. Basically, Non-24 always been around, but it's only affects those individuals who are totally blind.
Okay.
Now, according to the WHO, the World Health Organization, only percent of the world that considered or are totally blind.
Okay, can you repeat that again, because you were fading in? What was that?
I said, according to the World Health Organization, out of all the folks that are considered legally blind or statutory blind, only 5% of that population is totally blind.
Okay.
Other 95% has some sort of residual vision.
Okay, I got you. Go ahead.
Non-24-hour affects those folks who are totally blind, which, just based on what I just cited, as you can see, is a small percentage of the blind population, or the legally blind population.
Okay, all right.
Now, the way it affects you is that people rely on the sunlight hitting their retina. Light hits the retina of the eye, triggers your natural melatonin in your body.
Right.
If you are totally blind, you don't have that, if you will.
Okay.
So therefore, what happens is your circadian rhythm in your body thrown off, and that natural melatonin is not triggered.
Okay.
So that's where you run into the issue. So therefore, your body clock can be thrown off.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. That you said circadian rhythm. Is that exactly what that is? The body clock? Can you? And if it is, can you tell them go more a little bit into detail in terms of what that actually really means, or what it's used for? The circadian rhythm.
The body clock is actually your melatonin triggers and actually sets that on telling your body when it's an involuntary thing pretty much, and it's triggered by the sunlight, and it lets your body know, oh, it's time for you to be awake, or it's time for you to be asleep.
Okay.
So if that melatonin is not triggered because of the sunlight, then naturally your body is not going to know when to go to sleep.
Okay.
So there are treatments. The circadian rhythm.
Okay.
The circadian rhythm is basically how your melatonin sets your body clock, your circadian rhythm, if you will.
Okay.
Now, what one needs to keep in mind, there are treatment modalities for it, in which is the halitosis, which is a new drug that came out from Vanda Drug Company. However, when Vanda first put this drug on the market and was trying to find subjects, or before they put it on the market, they were still in the experimental stage with it, and they were trying to find subjects. They had a hard time finding subjects because totally blind folks.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of skewed their sample, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I was told by one of the researchers.
Okay. Now, I want to ask about. Go back to the circadian rhythm. You said it has something to do with the sun producing helps produce melatonin to let you know that it's time to go to sleep. Is there something? Because I also read a little bit about, and pardon me, forgot the name that's triggered to let your body know that it is time to actually wake up, that's where the confusion comes in with your body. If you have 9/24 in terms of a blind person not being able to know exactly when to go to sleep, when to wake up, and whatnot. Are you familiar with what I'm talking about?
That circadian rhythm is really just another way of saying your natural melatonin is not setting your body clock.
Okay.
Because you can't distinguish day or night. Okay.
And that's as you mentioned earlier, that's common only in totally blind people.
Yes, it's only for totally blind people.
Now the medicine that you were referring to, is that the medicine sort of allows the rhythms to be, I guess, be on point to know when you're able to go to sleep or not, or what's you said they were doing some type of test with the medicine?
What it's supposed to do, the halitosis is basically supposed to, it was supposed to have triggered and actually help your melatonin, your natural melatonin, to trigger your natural melatonin, if you will. That's the purpose of the medicine. However, I did not stay on that medicine long enough for, number one, is I did not know the side effects. The cost of us is very prohibitive. It's like $7,000 a month for that halitosis
So
medicine.
I don't quite imagine a lot of people can't afford that, huh? Please.
Now, there is another treatment modality that I just started today, and it's called Roserum. Now, it's actually, all it is a pharmaceutical grade of melatonin.
Okay. Now, I'm asking your wife a quick question. With the fact that people who have the non-24, and that's what is that? Am I safe to say that you have it, Mr. William?
Yeah, I've been diagnosed with it, yes.
Okay. With that in mind, how is it a difficult situation, or what's the situation? Because as I mentioned earlier, upon reading upon it, they said that people become irritable, or with the fact that they don't have they don't have a great deal of sleep, they become kind of difficult to deal with. Tell the audience how, basically from your experience, how how it actually is, from first-hand experience. How does it make that person actually become?
From my perspective, I didn't really understand it at first, and I was wondering why, like in the afternoons, my husband would get sleepy on Saturday afternoons, like 2 in the afternoon, he'd be getting sleepy. I didn't really understand it. We started to talk to this herbalist, and she started explaining to us about using melatonin and how it affected him, and so I just became knowledgeable. And of course, I have no problems getting to sleep at all, but he would get up at night, and sometimes if he would wake up, then I would wake up. So I just became more understanding. But I guess over a long period of time, if you don't get any sleep, I know the rare occasions when I don't get rest, the next day I'm walking around like I'm in a fog.
Mm-hmm.
He explained it to me. He said, I'm like that most of the time because I don't get to sleep.
Okay.
So it's something that I guess non-black blind people don't understand. But if you're living with somebody and you get first-hand vision of it. So when this commercial came on TV and it showed a blind person walking through the airport with a dog, and it showed another lady, our son was getting ready to go to school, and she was walking the son through the door. Came out with this new drug, we automatically thought, wow, we're so desperate, we wanted to jump on it. But when we started looking at the side effects long term, and then because it was an experimental drug, we decided to pull away from that. The risk was just too great.
Right. And that's
to use just regular melatonin until we heard about this pharmaceutical grade of melatonin. And so our prayer is now that will help, because when my husband has to get up in the morning now and go to work at a certain time, when he wasn't working, he could just stay in the bed and sleep later. But now that he has designated time to be somewhere, and when you have clients that are out there depending on you, you can't just say, well, I'm tired, I can't go in today. You got to be there for them.
Exactly, and that's what the passage that I had read today had said something similar to that. A lot of people who have non-24, they can't really, they can't really take off from work. They have things that they need to do as far as providing and whatnot. But Mr. William, I want to ask you, how does because society has evolved to different things and whatnot, and as far as different disease, I don't really use the term disease, but disorders have come up. How did you first determine that you had non-24?
How did the physician determine it?
Yeah, well,
she specializes in this, and it's like I said, it's such a new discovery. It's always been around. It's always been around, but oftentimes in the past, by professionals and social workers and VR counselors, they basically they dismissed it as being lazy or having anger issues or just being aloof, if you will, or non-caring, when in reality the person was trying to do everything they could. The student, the totally blind student, the totally blind worker, and even they were just trying their best to stay awake. And I mean, I was at a conference one time, and there was a blind lawyer there, and he was sitting right in the conference room. Just, I mean, in the little conference that we were in, everybody heard him. He was snoring big time right there in the conference.
So
people were like making fun of him and everything, and you know, now that I look back on it, this guy was actually probably experiencing non-24-hour.
So, and is it safe to say that people who actually experience something of this magnitude, is it safe to say that, you know, it's best for them to go get checked? Because I'm a totally blind person, and you know, there are times that I feel fatigued, but I know that, you know, and you know, I'm able to go to sleep and wake up in the morning, things of that nature. So with that being said,
but we all are, but we're not always at our best game. I'm able to get up when I have to in the morning and all, but I'm not always at my best game. I'm walking around in a fog. And there's times like I noticed coming home Friday, and I even noticed it yesterday. I really started getting real sleepy around 4:30 in the afternoon. But my doctor told me, my treating doctor said that you're going to have periods throughout the month where your sleeping pattern, go to sleep, is going to peak, and then it's going to level out, and then it's going to peak again. So it takes a while with these drugs to get you leveled off.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how have you been now thus far, since you say y'all have tried the experimental?
Today. Now, the other problem with this, and this is one of the things I think that is going to have to be addressed, because it's not addressed yet, and that is the cost. The cost for a lot of blind individuals that are on a fixed income, it's prohibitive.
Oh, okay.
For example, like as I said, the halitosis would cost about $7,000 a month.
That's very expensive.
The serum that I'm on now, it's like $621 a month.
And that's been working. That medicine has been working for you.
As I said, I just started
Okay.
the Rosarum today.
Okay. I have one more question for your wife. What do you recommend? I know you said that you have to be kind of patient with individuals who are going through this. Any other steps that they can take in order to deal with those, or any of their loved ones who may be going through the non-24? Like any suggestions that you have for them? Because we all offer words of encouragement or advice on this particular show. So what would you recommend?
I think it's like any other struggle you would have in your marriage. You're committed to each other. Had a disease and I was sick, my husband would be there for me. So the commitment is to each other. And so whatever, if he's going through something, I'm going through it too. And if I'm going through something, he is. And so our commitment is to each other, and to help do any research, talk to people. If he's trying to find a drug, like for us, try to be supportive on how can we pay for this? Can we use our flex spending, or how can we afford it, just to be supportive of each other? Because if you're in a relationship with somebody, marriage is something permanent. It should be lifetime, so you struggle together. And so if you've got an issue, it seems just a lot easier if you divide that by two, instead of letting my husband just have the weight of it just on him. And so sometime when I get up on a Saturday and he's still asleep, I try not to make as much noise because he needs to get some extra rest. Change our schedule around, because like I said, it's, you love somebody, you're willing to do whatever you can. And I want to see my husband at his peak.
Okay. Well, you got me smiling over here with what you just said, because not only just, with this, as you mentioned, that this applies across the board, but I don't want to digress. But I definitely take heed to what you said, because that's very important and what have you. Because I definitely want to bring I'll tell Mr. Williams, the reason why I want to bring this subject to light is because people who are visually impaired are totally blind, may be experiencing some type of non-24 and may not even really understand about it. So the best thing is, whenever you go through this situation in which you have a sleeping disorder, your patterns have changed, is to go to your doctor and check it out. So with that being said, Mr. Williams, do you have any last words of maybe that you can provide to the audience that could basically help them through this, or maybe who may be going through this and may not know?
Well, I will say this, just based on my personal experience. What I would encourage anyone to do is to basically research the matter, talk to your doctor, articles on it, and but as I said, it only affects those folks that are totally blind.
Okay.
And find a sleep specialist that can help you with it. But somebody that's special, because they're sleep specialists now, doesn't mean that they have knowledge base of non-24, because it's such a new area that's being addressed that not everybody's familiar with it.
Okay.
So make sure that you find a sleep specialist that has a working knowledge, or that's actually learning about the non-24-hour disorder, so they can treat you. But
Okay.
also do your research and do your homework and talk to other blind folks that are experiencing it.
Okay, that's very important. And you know what? I'm glad that I brought both of y'all on, and you all. Sometimes when you have a show, people come on and they give you so many technical words you can't understand. I'm glad that this was not the case. I'm glad that I was able to speak to someone firsthand who can give you their understanding of what a non-24 is in a way that we all can understand it. And as Mr. Williams has stated, the best thing is for us to get more information about it is to do our research. So I really am glad that I brought both of you out on here to get your wife's point of view and to get your point of view as well. And I want to really thank you all. And again, y'all, audience, do your research if you feel that you may be going through a situation where you have a sleep disorder. You can't have your patterns are changing or whatever. Definitely check with your local doctor, and as Mr. Williams has stated, and they'll basically follow up and see what kind of help they can provide. So with that being said, I want to thank both of you all for coming on the show and giving us this information, and to my audience to continue to subscribe, hit that notification bell, because you're going to get updates on stuff on things of this nature. Definitely trying to enlighten you in every way that we can. So to you all, I want to thank y'all again for coming on the show, and thanks for enlightening us on this particular topic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome, and y'all take care of yourself. Y'all seem like a lovely couple.
Thank you.
All right.
Good night.
Good night. There you have it. Non-24. Yeah, y'all check it out and see what see if maybe you all may be experiencing it. I hope that I asked the right questions. I mean, I wasn't trying to sound like a professional. I mean, I learned a little bit today, so that's what it is. The Parker Daniel Show.